What is up, YouTube? I'm here bringing you another deck profile. This week I'm going to be doing a deck that I love a lot. It's cheap. I bought it for about $35 all in all. Some of the pieces were a little bit harder to find, but it's a really good deck for really cost effectiveness. It's going to be Fluffals and Frightfurs. I love the deck a lot. I took it to a locals recently, and I did pretty well. I mean, it can't face off against the meta and some of the higher tier decks, but it definitely can fight some other rogue decks, and just for fun. So let's get right up in it. So start off 3 Edge Imp Sabers. Edge Imp Sabers is the main Edge Imp. I mean, he's really good. It's you can search it out with a lot of things in the deck, especially like dog and toy vendor, stuff like that. So that's that. Next is going to be 3 Edge Imp Chain. It's another one of the really good cards in here. It's another searcher. You ditch it with, you can ditch it with Tomahawk or even like Toy Vendor. Get some more searches out there. It's just all around good card. It's a good search. Next up, 2 Edge Imp Saw. I can't see playing him more than 2. I would honestly put him down to 1, but he's just so good. He can just be searched with so many things, and he gets you into your Leo. And Leo right now is the beater until Tiger comes out. So I mean, 2 Saw, pretty good. And last of the Edge Imps, 2 Tomahawk. I might actually end up bringing Tomahawk to 3, but not right now. I just don't feel him at 3. He's kind of dead in my hand sometimes, and it's just, I mean, he makes some good plays with sheep, but that's about it. So 2 to 3, it's really your choice, but Tomahawk. Next up is a half Frightfur, half Edge Imp weirdness thing. I'm not a fan of this card at all. It's Frightfuloid is really made for being a beater sometimes. If you're in a sticky situation, target the Leo engrave or like the Wolf engrave, something like that. Gain its attack, becomes equal to its attack. He also helps you get into Chimera, so I mean I can't hate on it too bad. I would play no more than 2, mostly just 1. I mean that's all you really need. Now on to the actual Fluffals. I'm going to start with one of the newer ones. It's the best one out right now, and it's going to be Sheep. Sheep is really good. It allows you to save some of your cards like Dog from being destroyed that turn. You bounce it, pull out a Sheep, and then an Edge Imp, and then you can like Insta-Fusion or something like that first turn. You don't necessarily need a Poly, but I mean, you do play them, so 3 Sheep. It's almost mandatory. A very good card. Next up is going to be Owl. Owl searches your polys and your fusion substitutes. Sorry, I got mixed up there. I almost wanted to say instant fusions. Nope. So Owl's really good for that. I might drop him to 2 because 3 gets a little cloggy. But he's really good. You can search him out with Dog. I mean, he's just a name. 3 Owl. It's pretty good. The searcher of the deck, 3 Dog. Dog is really good. Like I said, he's your searcher. He can search any Fluffal, or Edge Imp Sabers. So I mean, he can't really search any other Edge Imp but Sabers. So, that's not necessarily powerful, but he's there. So 3 Dog, mandatory. You need this card. Next up, I'm just gonna put them all in one. It's gonna be your 1-drops, and that's gonna be Bear, Cat, and Rabbit. These allow you to search from grave for Fluffals and fusions, like polys and whatnot. And Fluffal Bear allows you to get a Toy Vendor on field. Toy Vendor is one of your better cards in here. So, I mean, 1 of each. I could possibly see playing Bear at 2, but no more of Cat and Rabbit. And then lastly, for the monsters, Tour Guide. I like Tour Guide in this deck. It's sad that it's at 1 now. I mean, Tour Guide can help you search for saws and Sayers, stuff like that. And it can help you go into Leviers and whatnot. So I mean, that's pretty good, because you do end up banishing quite a few cards in this deck, because you have the equivalent of a Miracle Fusion. So I mean, good card. I would play one. You can easily take it out. I mean, it is your deck. Play it how you want. Now, there's no traps in my build, because I don't feel the Fluffal traps are that good, and there just isn't space for staples. So, 2 Fright for Factory. Factory is basically lets you use Poly from Grave, which is pretty friggin' awesome. And then when it gets destroyed later, if they MST it or something happens to it, you can grab a Fright for Fusion from the Banished. So, I mean, that's really good, because Fright for Fusion is your Miracle Fusion. So, definitely play 2. Next up is Fright for Fusion. It allows you to fusion summon from your graveyard. So, I mean, if you've got quite a few materials in your graveyard, you might want to end up throwing a Fright for Fusion out, pulling out a wolf, make it huge, play however many materials on it you want. I mean, make it... I've made one... I actually OTK'd a UA deck by making 2 wolves that could both attack twice. And wolf being at 2,000 attack, it just OTK'd. It was a really fun game. So, 2 Miracle Fusion. Sorry, Fright for Fusion. 1 Suture Rebirth. It's a monster reborn, but they lose all their effects. It's okay. I wouldn't play more than 1. Next up, 3 Toy Vendor. Toy Vendor is easily one of the better cards in this deck. It allows you to drop a card from your hand, so I would honestly drop like Chain or another Toy Vendor itself. Then you get the search, then you get to draw from the Toy Vendor, and then you get to draw, and then you get to search from whatever you dropped. So I mean, it's a pretty good card. And if you do end up pulling a Fluffal monster, it doesn't have to be that one that you special summon. You can special summon any of them in your hand. So that's pretty cool. So 3 Toy Vendor, really good card. Play 3. That's all I gotta say about that. On to the fusions. I played quite a few. There's 6. 2 Fusion Substitute. Fusion Substitute is a poly, but you have to have it on the field. All the monsters on the field. So I mean, it's okay, but it synergizes really well with Sheep. So that's pretty cool. And I mean, also it has that nifty effect in the graveyard where you can target a card in the graveyard, a fusion monster, sorry. Put it back in the extra deck and draw a card for it. So pluses, good card. You can also drop this with Toy Vendor, actually, and save one of your cards, so I would play it. Next up is just straight up Poly. Poly is Poly. Play 2. Don't play 3, because you play so many different forms of Poly that it's outrageous. And next up is Dark Fusion. Dark Fusion is one of the cards that was a little harder for me to find. It's an old card. Basically, it's your out to being like bottom list or something like that. It makes it so your fusion monster cannot be targeted for that turn by traps. So, I mean, it really helps. So you can't be like compulsed or something like that. You get to keep it on the field that turn. The only downside to Dark Fusion that I found is you can't search it with Owl like you can with Poly and Fusion Substitute. I mean, that's the only downside to it. I like it a lot. You don't have to play this. If I were to do something with it, I would drop. I would put in another Instant Fusion. Sorry, not Instant Fusion. Fusion Substitute, and like maybe another MST. If you can't get these cards or you don't want to put them in, so it's up to you. But I like this card. And lastly, 2 MST, because MST. You can't play it at 3 this format because there's not much back row going around. But 2 is definitely good. I mean, you can easily side it out if you want to play this deck competitively, but I don't ever see that. So that's it for the main deck, but there's still the entire extra deck to go through, so I'll go through that now. Start off with 3 Wolf. Wolf is easily the one I go into the most because I can get sabers into hand so easily. But, I mean, he's not the best one out there, but he is your OTK. He can attack however many times. He can attack once for each monster you use to fusion summon him. So just use a ton of stuff with your Right for Fusion, and he can be a pretty formidable opponent. Next is going to be 2 Sheep. Sheep is awesome. It's an Armades. Basically, if I attack you with it, you can't activate any effects. So that really kills a lot of decks out there right now that have effects engraved that activate immediately. Screw your searches, screw your whatever you got back rows, just done. Also, if they do end up getting over your sheep, it comes instantly back. Nothing you can do about it. It's gonna come back no matter what, and it's gonna wreck your face with 800 more attack. So, really good card. It's a beater and it's awesome. Also, if like you end up having to swing and crashing with something that also has 2,000 attack, it can come back with 28 next time and attack again because it's amazing. It's my favorite card in here. Next up, 1 Leo. 1 Leo is too much Leo. He's not good enough to play more of because you have to use Saw for him, which is a bummer. But you can destroy any card on the field you want, so it's pretty good. I mean, he's a popper. He does a lot of damage to your opponent. He's really good card. Last for the normal ones, 1 Bear. Really pretty in that ulti. He's really good, except he's got the biggest downside to any of these. You have to use Bear to get him out. It's like you have to, and it's upsetting to me. If you could make him, like, if he was generic like the rest of them, you can use any Fluffal, he would be amazing. He'd be one of the best cards in the deck. But he's not. So, play 1. You only play 1 Bear. I mean, honestly, the only way you're going to get him out is if you Fright for Fusion for him. So, unless you want to play it differently and play more Bear, only play 1 Fright for Bear. Next up, 2 Chimera. Chimera is actually pretty easy to get out with Fright for Fusion. Fright for Fusion is your best fusion card in the deck, so it's really easy to get this card out. All you have to do is drop 3 from your grave or on the field. I would never do that though; that's stupid. But Chimera is in Armades as well. When he attacks, you can activate effects, and then he's also a Goyo, which is pretty cool. And like he's a really good card. I like Chimera. I get him out often. It's never like you never rush to Chimera, but if your opponent's got a lot of pressure on the field, you can pull this out and fight back. That's it for the fusion cards. I do run a few Xyz, just staples, Abyss Dweller because everything activates in the graveyard now. Cowboy because he poke for 800 wins games sometimes. Alucard because, I don't know, you can pop some back row. I like him a lot. And Leviair. Leviair is necessary. Very good card. You can easily get him out because almost everything in here is a level 3 or lower. So, play 1. It's a pretty good card. You pull back some of your banished stuff from Fright for Fusion. It's, yeah. So, that's it for the deck profile. I hope you guys liked it. I definitely love this deck. I know if you start playing it, you'll find it's a lot of fun. Don't expect this to be competitive. I don't want you guys coming back to me and being like, oh no, well, I didn't win anything. You said this deck was good. I said it's cost effective. It's not good, or it's not like a meta deck at all, but if you guys like the deck profile, like and subscribe, and I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.